It is your boy T with another Have You Seen That with T movie review, and today we are reviewing Extraction 2. Right, so the movie Extraction came out a few years ago on Netflix, and it came out of nowhere, right? Chris Hemsworth, in between making Thor movies, decided to make a gritty action thriller that was just full of action, full of intensity, and Extraction 1 was superb, right? Great movie. It was a near perfect action movie, and then they made Extraction 2, which I think amps it up and is another near perfect action movie, right? Like, and it's really hard to compare action movies when I've watched movies like The Raid, Redemption, John Wick 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? And Extraction 2 takes a little bit of a lot of all of those things and rolls it up into a great, great, great movie. This, I mean, it was superb, right? It was fantastic. It was everything you want in an action movie. It had heart. It had, very little dialogue. There's not much to talk about when Chris Hemsworth's saving people, extracting people. Tyler Rake, that character is kind of, I feel like if they continue with these movies, we'll kind of move into that John McClane territory of being like just one of those folk action heroes. I really feel like they can make a franchise with Extraction. Keep it on Netflix, right? Don't make me go spend my money, even though I will. Don't get me wrong. I will go, like, if they put Extraction 3 out in the theaters, I'm going to go see it because it's that good. The first two movies with that high quality of movie. Um, this one, Tyler Rake, if you've seen the first Extraction, he got shot a bunch of times at the end of that, fell off a bridge. Somehow he survived. Why? Because he's Chris Hemsworth and the guy's built of like fucking steel or whatever it is. But the movie takes place months after that. He's recovered. His team gets back together. He's on a mission to save the family of his ex-wife, right? His ex-wife's sister. She's in deep with a drug lord who she has a family with, and the drug lord is so controlling that he makes his family go to jail with him. Right? They're in a Georgian jail in the country of Georgia, not to be confused with the state of Georgia, which would have served the same purpose for this movie actually. But the antagonist, he was so hung up on his family, he had his family put in jail with him so he can protect them in jail. Make that make sense, Netflix. But anyways, Tyler Rake gets given the job to go save them. Of course, he goes in there and saves the day. And what I liked about this movie is they kept ramping up the action, right? It wasn't just a one set piece where he comes and saves the day and that's the end. No, the main bad guy is very, very, vindictive. He's very determined to bring justice and get that family back and get revenge for the death of his brother. And Chris Hemsworth's up for the task, right? The action in this movie is just fantastic, right? I'm running out of adjectives to say for how wonderful I thought the movie was. It just worked. Every beat worked. All of the characters worked. Right? They seemed like the team that Chris Hemsworth was with. The brother and sister team. They all played their role to perfection. The family, the teenage kids in these movies. These teenage kids keep making the dumbest decisions because they're teenagers and they're ruled by their emotions, and their emotions very rarely make any logical sense. So that puts the team in peril quite a bit, and it just keeps intensifying the action and these guys that they're facing. It's like, man, you're facing a team of mercenaries who's just as trained as you. How do you beat them? By just wanting it more, right? And I think Chris Hemsworth and his team wanted it more in this movie, and you could tell it just the action kept ramping up to the very fitting climax that somehow takes place in the church. Don't know how all of these movies always end up in the church. Shout out to John Woo. I know that that's an ode to him. I hope it's an ode to him because, that's one of the most famous church shootout scenes ever, and The Killer. But if you got time this weekend, if you're not watching The Flash, if you're not watching Asteroid City, if you're not watching Elemental, if you're not watching The Blackening, Definitely give yourself a few moments to watch Extraction 2. It is definitely worth your time. It is a fantastic action movie. And I hope, and it definitely sets up for a sequel. There's a cameo in this movie who sets it up for a sequel, who I will not give away. But I think that if this cameo, this person who shows up in the movie, shows up in part three, is either a friend or a foe, is going to make part three even bigger and badder than this one. Definitely check out Extraction 2 on Netflix. Also, there's a new season of Black Mirror out on Netflix. I watched the first episode, and I'm going to give my review of all of the episodes after I finish watching all six. And I'm super excited about watching the rest of Black Mirror. The first episode was fantastic. The first episode was probably one of the top five, if not top 10 episodes of Black Mirror so far. Yeah, check out Extraction 2. It's on Netflix. It's a great time. If you like action, this is definitely a movie for you to check out. All right. And on that note, I'm out of here.